A missile that can fly from Kyiv to Moscow in under an hour, carrying a warhead heavy enough to flatten a city block. Sounds like something out of a superpower's arsenal. But it's not American, it's not Russian, it's Ukrainian. And it's called the Flamingo FP5. This newly developed long-range cruise missile, produced domestically by Ukraine's defense company Firepoint, marks a potential breakthrough in Ukraine's weapons program. For years, Putin assured his people that Moscow was untouchable, that no Ukrainian weapon could ever reach the Russian capital. That promise is now in jeopardy. Don't let the name fool you. The Flamingo may sound soft, but in reality, it is anything but. Born in the middle of a war, this missile is Ukraine's latest answer to Russian aggression. More than just a weapon, it's as a loud message, a message so powerful that even Donald Trump warned on Truth Social that interesting times lie ahead. Painted pink at first by mistake, the missile's unusual color became symbolic, even serving as a tribute to the women leading its production. Unveiled on August 18th, the Flamingo is no prototype, it's already rolling off production lines. Ground-launched and mobile, it stunned observers with one key feature: range. With a reach of 1,900 miles, or 3,000 kilometers, it can strike deep into Russia, hitting Moscow, St. Petersburg, and even parts of Siberia. But what truly makes it dangerous isn't just distance, it's payload. Early reports suggest the Flamingo carries a warhead exceeding 1 ton, more than double that of America's Tomahawk missile. That combination rattles military planners across the border. Unlike Ukraine's earlier Neptune missiles, which were designed for naval strikes, or short-range drones like the Palyonitsia, the Flamingo is in a different league, combines reach and destructive power, elevating Ukraine's arsenal from tactical tools to a true strategic weapon. It shifts the balance of the war and undermines Russia's confidence. Even more significant is the fact that Firepoint built this missile entirely with local resources, without relying on Western technology. That independence means Ukraine doesn't need anyone's permission to use it. Production has already reached 1 missile per day, with plans to scale up 2,000s per year, a stockpile that could itself act as a deterrent to future Russian aggression. Remarkably, this weapon was built in just 9 months. Most missile systems of this caliber take 5 to 10 years to develop. Engineers worked under extraordinary pressure, often in underground bunkers, to avoid Russian strikes. They borrowed ideas from drones, applied stealth coatings, and incorporated AI into the guidance system. Despite material shortages and sanctions, they pressed on, sourcing engines locally and securing funding from a mix of state and private investors. Reports suggest some early tests may have already struck targets in Crimea. The motivation behind the Flamingo is rooted in Ukraine's suffering. For years, Russian missiles launched from hundreds of kilometers away rained down on Ukrainian cities, often targeting homes, schools, and factories without clear military logic. Many Ukrainians came to see these as acts of terror. From that grief and defiance, the Flamingo was born not in government labs, but through the determination of ordinary citizens turned engineers, determined to strike back and reclaim control. Technically, the Flamingo is designed to be both deadly and hard to stop. Its 3,000 kilometers range allows it to hit oil refineries, command centers, and supply depots far inside Russia. The wanton warhead is capable of destroying hardened bunkers and infrastructure. Although it flies at subsonic speeds, this is intentional. Slower speeds save fuel and allow the missile to hug terrain, making it harder to detect. It uses advanced navigation resistant to GPS jamming, AI-assisted guidance, and stealth technology to reduce radar visibility. Mobile launchers allow flexibility and unpredictability, with the option of launching in salvos to overwhelm Russian air defenses. The missile can also be equipped with different payloads, high explosives, cluster munitions, and potentially even nuclear options in the future. Accuracy is reported within 10 meters, making it precise enough for high-value strategic targets. Perhaps most importantly, the Flamingo is affordable. At roughly $500,000 per missile, it's far cheaper than comparable Russian systems that cost millions, making it scalable. This cost-effectiveness gives Ukraine a weapon it can produce in large numbers, changing the long-term balance. The Kremlin's unease is obvious. Russian propagandists are already scrambling to downplay the missile, suggesting it looks too similar to Western models, but their nervousness is clear. The Flamingo undermines Russia's military strategy, strains its economy by forcing more spending on defenses, and threatens its political narrative of invulnerability. For ordinary Russians, the illusion that the war is far away collapses. When strikes reach oil refineries near Moscow or air bases deep inside Russian territory, that psychological effect, fear and uncertainty, is just as damaging as physical destruction. Economically, Russia depends heavily on oil and gas exports. If the Flamingo begins targeting pipelines, refineries, and terminals, it could cut up to 20% of Russia's oil flow, triggering fuel shortages, economic pain, and unrest among ordinary citizens. This could weaken Putin's grip on power, potentially forcing him to the negotiation table not out of military defeat, but out of economic exhaustion. Strategically, the Flamingo allows Ukraine to strike deep without sending soldiers into enemy territory, saving lives and reducing attrition. It levels the playing field against Russia's larger manpower advantage. Globally, it changes how other nations view Ukraine, no longer as a dependent underdog, but as an innovator capable of producing advanced weapons under wartime conditions. Beyond Russia, its allies are also watching nervously. Iran and North Korea, who have supplied drones and artillery to Moscow, now face the reality that Ukraine's missiles could reach them too. Even China, cautious in its support, must calculate the risks of being tied too closely to a war that is growing harder to control. Meanwhile, countries like Taiwan see the Flamingo as proof that smaller nations can innovate to deter larger threats. The missile's success also raises concerns about proliferation. If Russia captures one, they'll try to reverse engineer it. Other nations will be eager to study it as well. But Firepoint's design is built around wartime efficiency, resilience, and speed qualities that are difficult to copy. Ultimately, the Flamingo is more than a missile. It's a message. Signals that Ukraine can strike back, that Russia's geography is no longer a shield, and that innovation can shift the balance even against a larger foe. It forces Russia to play defense, stretches its resources, and shakes its confidence. And it sends a warning far beyond Moscow. The age of military dominance by size alone is fading. Innovation, precision, and reach are the new equalizers. And Ukraine has just proven it.